All right, so welcome to the first episode of Steamed Podcast. That's right, we have a podcast now. So today we're going to be discussing some things about early access, Hunt Showdown ratings, Stop with Zombies. That's Becker's opinion of zombies being a bad thing for
They're a
games.
bad thing.
Okay, that's fine. Character creation, and maybe we'll get to Black Panther. So we're going to go into the intro, and then from there we will start with early access with Will.
Early access, is, at least on the developer side, I can understand them wanting to get as much feedback as they can, and it helps with uh, eradicating bugs, major ones and
Yeah,
minor
but isn't that what
ones.
beta is for?
You could say that alpha and beta were early access before they coined the phrase early access and just started throwing this hodgepodge of a game that they put together at people. And like the big thing that bugs me is that you have to pay money to gain access to it.
So it's not even
That
like alpha or beta.
No, it's you doing it. In my opinion, it's the player doing a lot of work. And I know it's
Yeah.
just playing a video game and enjoying it, but that's what QA testers are for. They're there to make sure quality is there. They do that. They test for bugs. They test the game out. They play it for hours on end, day after day, and do that work. And I mean, they don't get paid well for it, but they get paid for it. And you're
Yeah.
doing a ton of work for them, especially if you send them feedback. Like they, and then some of these games are in early access for like 2 years. I know a game that I really like, Grim Dawn, was in early access for a very long time, probably around like 2 years, maybe a little bit
Oh, that's
less.
right. I do remember Grim Dawn.
I was
But
about to ask you how long Grim Dawn was in there because that game was in there for a while.
yeah, for a while, and I had played an early build of it. I had a ton of fun with it, and it was pretty well put together when I started playing. And then once the game came out, they had flushed down the toilet, a lot of bugs and everything like that. They made optimization stuff like that, and then I think not too long ago they expanded upon the game itself. So they continued working on it and patching it and listening to their community and everything. They had really good communication. A lot of developers don't. I don't, in my opinion, don't have great communication, even with their early access.
I do agree with that.
Yep.
I mean,
They just from time to time go, "Oh, here's a patch coming out. Tell us what you think," and then that's it.
I
So
don't
here,
understand the whole early access thing because there was always alpha, there was always beta, and I get the idea behind it, but I feel like it's just an easy way for developers to just get money in without having to provide. I mean, they should, and most of the time, a lot of the clients or the gamers, players, do say, well, the developer isn't even updating it anymore, so it's not worth buying this game. But they've already received X amount of dollars from the previous players, so it's like there should be some kind of like, hey, you can't just make a kind of game and then charge people for it and then not provide a service that people are paying for. There should
so
be
let
some
me
kind
give
of
you an
reprimand.
example. Let's do two examples here. So one, let's use a game that I bought in on early access was Deep Space DF9, which was a space building.
Deep
You're
Space
building a space station kind of simulator. I
DF9.
bought it. Yeah, so Deep Space
Oh.
DF-9. So I got it. I guess I got it in 2013 when it was early access. I hit the point where I did everything in the game, so I was waiting for the next bit of stuff to come out, and they dumped it. A year, so I got it in December. I got it December 30th, 2013. On November 13th, 2014, the game was released because the developer stopped making it.
19, 5%, 19%.
So they dropped it. Now another early access game is Ark. Ark was an early access game.
Mm.
Now,
Everyone knows Ark.
yeah, everyone knows Ark. So you have the success story of like Ark, or what I think what Star Citizen's doing is the same kind of deal. Like you have to buy into it. It's an early access, and then I think for every one of those, there's probably like 5 or 6 D Space DF9s where they just walked away. They took the money and decided to make another game instead and left.
Well, yeah, there was the one thing that Ark did that I didn't like was that, hey, we're in early access, thanks for your money. We're kind of working on this, we're doing these things, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, here's a DLC for $20, by the way.
Here's an expansion.
Yeah, which is Scorched Earth, and it's like,
Wait, what?
I liked Ark. well, I like Ark. I still play it. I do enjoy the game, but I do think that that was a very poor PR choice for them. Like, oh yeah, I'm
Hmm.
I'm not even done with the first thing, but here's some things that we were working on the side, which they were clearly working on predominantly instead of fixing the bugs of the game, which is a huge issue because the game has plenty of bugs. So that was my whole issue with Ark. Um, and then on top of it, then they go, oh, we're gonna release it now, and now it's $60.
Yep.
Why?
I'm
Like,
going through my list right now, just looking at the games that I bought that were early access and seeing how many of them are actually like
well, I
games
mean,
now versus they just got dumped and they walked away
we can
from it.
even consider Star Citizen. Is Star Citizen early access or still an alpha?
It's still an
It's
alpha,
it. So
but
this is my thing. Is what how do you qualify how long an alpha and a beta is? Because an alpha and a beta to me is the game's about to release.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Maybe alpha is maybe I don't know like half a year before it releases,
Hmm.
mhm.
and then beta comes either 3 months before or like 2 months before it's released. Those are telling your fan base, your community that's already bought into it that we're almost
Get
done,
hyped.
we're close, get ready. Here's what we have so far. Tell us what you think so that we can make some minor changes before it's released. And things that are in the alpha and beta are maybe some of those things are already changed that they've worked on even further. And like Star Citizen has been people could play test it for a very long time now. I'd say it's not in an alpha, it's in an early access
Yeah, I
stage
would say it's early access.
because
See,
you
my thing is if you're gonna do like for Star Citizen, I give Star Citizen like I don't punish Star Citizen for it because I feel like what they're doing is so massive and so unique that by enlisting their player base to be alpha testers for them, I can kind of forgive it. But I think that's my own rose tinted glasses on it.
yeah, I don't hold anything against them for opening access to people that have already bought into it. That's fine, but there's so many developers that do it, and I don't know. I guess it's because they have very little time nowadays to really develop a game. They get like maybe like less than 3 years, and they have to throw
Hmm.
something out at the
Well,
end.
who
At
gives
least
them the
with big
time limit?
publishers too.
Develop publishers. It's never the developer. It's always the publisher. The publisher says,
Oh, for like
"Go."
you're saying for like AAA games and stuff like that.
AAA
Even
and even in
even
some
not
independent
triple.
stuff that
Yeah.
has backing to it beforehand.
Do you think indie publishers are very strict with the timeline? I
I
mean,
think
indie
once
is
you've
pretty much
gone
you are
from
developing it for the most part, but I
yeah,
know
but
there are some.
once you're one of these games that get into like, all right, well, I'm doing it, but I'm going to get published through XYZ company, then you're on a deadline.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
Uh,
I guess the frustration with the whole thing is that I have no problem putting in money into the game to get it, and I get the price can increase, which means that the early access people don't have to buy that. They don't buy,
Yep.
they buy it at the early access price, which is great. But there should be like a limitation of either how many people they can sell to, like kind of like a closed beta kind of thing. But with early access, you buy into it. This way, you don't have the issue with, oh, the servers don't work. Yeah, you're testing it, but at the same time, you could essentially damage everything. You can damage your servers because you're overloading them, overheating them, and you don't have the proper equipment in place to supply all these clients, players, the service that you're selling them. So then there's that. Like I guess the problem is that there's just so many variables when it comes to an early access game and what they bring to the table versus what beta and alpha. I guess my issue is that early access games are predominantly becoming completed games. Like early access, yeah, no, that game is going to stay like that for years or months or whatever. And then by the time it comes and is released, people are kind of bored with that game and moved on. So cool.
yeah.
I don't know. I don't think you can. I get your idea of like only a certain amount of people can buy it, but that would only harm the company of all right. Don't buy my 20,000 people bought my game, so no one else can buy it. So by the time it releases, the hype's over. The problem is I don't know. I think a portion of the blame is on us
Mm.
of what do you mean it's early access, so I want a game that's playable.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I agree with that
Right.
too.
But I
Yeah.
mean, even when Steam had the Greenlight program, it came up and said, like, even right now, it says this game's early in early access, which means blah, blah, blah. And the whole list everything. We just, yes, get out of my face. I want to buy this game and move on and then get upset about it. See, I mean, even I did. When I couldn't run Star Citizen when 3.0 came out because my computer couldn't handle it because they didn't optimize the RAM usage, I was pissed.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wait, it's an early access game, jackass.
Yeah.
It's supposed to have problems. Chill out.
Yeah, I understand that, but there's a big part about that is that you don't know when the hell it's coming out. You have no idea. It could be in that for 3 years before you even hear of a release date, and I don't think that's right. You can't just have something that's playable, whatever that means for each developer. It could be completely different. They could have a really early alpha build that they say is playable, but it's very limited, and then things are going to change so drastically. How can you honestly ask people for money for something like that? Because
Well, it's
maybe
their
they like what you give them,
yeah.
and then by the end of it, it turns into something that they don't enjoy anymore. How are they going to get their money back? Because by that point, it's been way too long
To
for
get the
them to ask
refund.
money back.
Well, and that's
But
another
this,
thing too, is that
like,
Steam comes into play as well. Like Steam says that you can't get a refund of this game unless you've played less than X hours.
2 hours.
2 hours, yeah.
It's 2 hours.
That's I feel like that's too low of a number for people to actually really feel like, because sometimes you don't get any game breaking stuff until 5 hours in or something like that. And I'm not saying that it should be, infinite amount of time you have to play this game for you to get a refund. No. If you've played 20 plus hours, safe to say that like you enjoyed
You
the
liked
game.
it.
Yeah, you liked it. So, and the thing is too is that there's also this stigma in Steam that it's like, oh, you've played X amount of hours, therefore you have no idea what you're talking about, or you played 1,300 hours, you really like the game, and it's like, or I've played 20,000 hours, therefore I am entitled to this opinion of mine, which everyone's entitled to their opinion, but they say like you have to listen to my opinion because my opinion is God. It's God's word because whatever. I think that
yeah.
Steam should dial up the hours you have to play, even if they dialed it up to like 3, 4, 5. That's still more time for you to play the game for you to like find the issues with it. And then on top of that, there should be a punishment for those early access developers and publishers that are involved in it, that if they don't provide any kind of content or they're updating the game monthly, weekly, whatever the time limit may be they dictate, there should be some kind of punishment. Their game is removed from Steam.
That's hard to do though.
I
So
get
even
it, yeah.
take something like Star Citizen, they're gonna do a quarterly update.
But they're not going through anyone but themselves. They're not going through Steam, they're not going through a publisher. It's all their
But
own stuff.
they also they fundraise enough that they can do that. Some other smaller groups couldn't do that. I think you have to be able to say it's going to come out give a roadmap.
Yes. Yeah, no, that's fair. I think everyone should have a roadmap. I agree. And
Yeah,
and Acid Shadow brings up a good point. Like 2 hours in is an hour of story and 15 minutes of tutorials, 45 minutes of loading. So there's some games where not every game is the same thing. It's not the same formula where you get in and you just play. Like
Kingdom Come Deliverance,
You
same
got
thing. I'm
this.
still not through the tutorial yet. I'm still in the tutorial.
Yeah, we used to not have to deal with those when we had manuals for games.
remember you had to get magazines, you get like cheat codes and stuff like that in the magazines.
Yes.
Those are the days.
I remember Fallout 1 came with the Vault Dweller's Guide with it that had all the commands for the game. I had that around here somewhere. I think I recently threw it out when we were moving. But yeah, I had that forever. The good old days when you had a game guide.
So
Yeah.
what would you guys do to fix it?
I don't think there is a way to fix it.
You think it's just too
because
far?
It's no one did anything about it whatsoever. It was a problem that everybody knew about, but nobody cared because they were still just getting their money. So like because that's the main problem is like if you want if you should charge less. Don't even make them pay $20. Maybe at most 10, because you're charging them to do work for you.
Yeah.
Like I know
That's
people
true.
really are excited for it, but they're doing a lot of work for you, and you're charging them like $20, $30 to get into an early access for some of these. Like that's nearly half the game price for it when it comes out.
Yeah.
on
Yeah, I
release.
mean,
And
Hunt Showdown is $30 right now,
How much was
and that's a lot of money. I mean, gamers aren't the most, wealthiest of people for sure. And on top of that, when you have a product that's not even complete, it's like, here's a sandwich, but I ate half of it, so I want the full price of this sandwich. And saying,
what was
what?
the
Sorry,
Monster
that's
Hunter
a
type game that came out on PC that
Dauntless.
yeah, Dauntless. Its early access was $99 for the base package.
the,
For the founders, like everything included for
yeah,
future stuff. There's
that's
like
that's
tiers of
another
it.
See that
But
that
yes,
you shouldn't do whatsoever, because you don't even know if the game's gonna last that long. Like this is not like Dauntless. If it had come
well,
at the same time as Monster Hunter World,
so easy
Monster
take
Hunter World
oven.
would have just destroyed it.
Yeah,
Well,
it
Would have
destroyed it,
been
that game. Well,
rushed
it's
under
still
the rug.
going.
I think the difference between Dauntless and Monster Hunter World are almost two separate things. One is more detail oriented, and the other one is more focused on like the interaction with. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't played
Dauntless is going to
Dauntless.
survive until Monster Hunter comes out on the PC, and then that game is going to be done.
Possibly,
It's
yeah,
like these,
yeah.
and see, Monster Hunter didn't have an early
It
access,
didn't.
right?
No,
It had
it did
closed
not.
beta.
Oh
It
wait,
had a closed beta, closed
it
alpha,
had
and
a
a
closed
closed,
beta,
which
and
was
then
free.
and then release happened like a few months
Yep.
later. That's all it had, and like it's been around for years. That series
Well,
has been around for years, and
that's
they
the
know what they're
thing.
doing with it. They also didn't charge for. They don't have fucking loot boxes in it. They don't have any sort of like a founders pack or anything like that. You just pay for the game.
Nope.
You get to play the game all the way through. It has a ton of content to it, and then eventually they're probably going to add more to it. I hope they are. I'd like
Yeah,
to see
There,
more
the
added to it.
following for it is why they didn't really need to go into easy access, early
Well,
they
there-
do
access.
have a deal. There is a paid, I think it's like a starter pack, a starter boost thing you can get that gives you some basic gear and materials.
Yeah,
That's on the
Okay.
PlayStation Network store, but nothing
Oh.
like it didn't
it's not pay
prompt
to
you when
win.
you logged in for it.
It wasn't pay to win or pay.
And also,
Yeah, like you didn't log in for it.
their player base was solely in Japan for the
Yeah,
most
that's
part,
true.
because they
And it was
didn't put
mostly
on
a
any
mobile
other
game
s-
too.
Yeah, they didn't put it on
Mobile
any other
platform.
platforms besides the Nintendo one, and it like in Japan it was popular, but outside of it, it struggled to sell because
But that's
nobody
also
wants to
because,
play it on a Nintendo system.
well, and it's not even that. It's more on the lines of that, like people in America, we're not a country that's like the gamers here like consoles and PCs. We don't like mobile devices. We're not like mobile gamers and stuff like that, like a lot of other countries like Russia and Japan.
The problem is there's nothing else on it. Like so around here I have the Nintendo Switch.
I'm actually curious what the
There's Zelda, Mario
there's
game.
Mario Odyssey, Mario Rabbids crossover game, which is just XCOM.
Bayonetta 2 came out.
oh yeah,
Bayonetta
Bayonetta
2.
2 came out.
They
But I
did
mean,
the cardboard the cardboard boxes you can buy for like $80 to
but I
turn
mean, this
crap
system's
toys
been
for
out for
children.
over a year.
So
Came out last February. It's got like 4 or 5 games.
it won't let me. I have to log in to see what the game
Well,
costs now.
like that was that was one of their problems with Nintendo. For a very long time, they didn't use a lot of third party companies for their video
Mhm.
games. They did it in like in-house first party stuff, and they spent a lot of money and struggled for a very long time because for whatever reason they're just like, no more third party stuff. We're gonna cut that by a large margin, and they suffered because of it. And now they're going back into it, so they're getting a lot of unique ideas, original ideas, and they're not just regurgitating the same Mario, Zelda, and eventually they're gonna have another Metroid game coming out. So,
I think my problem is like
so
you
so Dauntless is going to be free to play in 2018.
yeah, in 2018 at some point.
Correct.
But the early access for it you paid for.
It well, the beta, yeah, to get into the closed beta.
You paid for the
Yeah.
beta.
Yep. Yeah. That's
yeah, they had a date and they still paid money for it
That
for an
means
unfinished game.
bend over for the microtransactions that are coming.
I don't think I mean maybe. I don't I hope everything I mean microtransactions we can do a whole
That's a
fucking-
different topic.
That's a whole different topic.
That's next week.
Yeah.
Next week's
Yeah,
microtransactions.
we got to remember that because that's microtransactions and how they've just kind of like flooded the gaming just the developer side is just absolutely disgusting and insane. It's gambling. Anyway, so you think that there's no way of fixing this because it's gone too far, Will. What about, is that correct? I'm trying to,
It's just been too long. It's
yeah,
been sitting there for too long as a problem that you could see. It was a huge problem because you saw a few of them like that, and it's like, oh, that's a cool idea to get. And then like every single freaking game is just doing it. It's like,
right.
Yep.
here, give us the money already for the game that we may or may not finish, but if you give us money, like I don't even think it's a thing that we need more money to do it. If you really need that much money, make it a Kickstarter. Don't just put it up on Steam as early access. Fund the money.
Yeah.
People do crowdfunding, and they do crowdfunding more than
I
anything
mean,
else.
Pray to the Gods was an early access. It's not even early access. It was a game that they funded through Kickstarter, and I paid into it. I think it was $15, and I get the game when it releases, and I'm okay with waiting until they release the game. If they have
Yeah.
to take time, that's fine, because at least I know that with early access, people kind of get that, like Acid Shadow said in chat, that if they get that instant gratification, then they're kind of done with the game. So then the developers are like, well, people don't like the game, so let's move on to the next project. No, this way it's like, well, they haven't released, so people don't know whether or not it's going to be good or not. It's Shadow of the Colossus-esque kind of game, so it's going to be great. But regardless, I digress. So Becker, how do you think would be the best way to resolve it?
With most things, it comes from us. We have to decide what we're going to invest and not invest in, and then when it doesn't work, stick with it. So like, if you decide that you want to invest in an early access game, awesome, invest in it. I've done it for a boatload of games. Some of them, like Grim Dawn and Ark, paid off. Some of them did not. But the only person I can hold accountable for it is I knew when I did it, I gambled my money.
Okay, fair.
I gambled it. So we as gamers have to be a little more
Responsible.
responsible with our money of this is what I'm investing in. And then when it doesn't work, we have to have a better solution than
Wah.
I bought this early access game and I can't log in because the servers went down.
Yeah, which actually goes into Hunt Showdown right after.
I was transitioning for you.
Yeah, nice segue there. But right before that, my opinion is I think that there's too many. I feel like a lot of the just the companies that create these games that don't follow through with them, they kind of get away with a lot of, you know, they don't get punished for anything. And I think there should be some kind of not stricter, well, but definitely stricter rules to it, but not something that's going to break them or bring them down as a company. But they're providing a service, and they're not providing that service. Any other company, you know, they would not be able to survive. But because the gaming
No.
industry is very unique, they can abuse that. So I think there's got to be something there that allows, you know, the players to kind of like, I wouldn't say vote, but because if it's like a unanimously like the space with a game that you went into space, that freaking game didn't come out, and you can see 5% of the people that bought the game, you know, thought what it was good. So 5% of the player base was like, yeah, no, this is decent. 95% thought it was garbage. So
Because they just dropped it. They just walked away.
exactly, and they should be punished for that. Or at least they they should come up with a reason why. I just think there should be something in place that the players shouldn't be like left there with their asses in their hand.
Double Fine moved on to a different game. That's what it was. They moved on to the next one.
Yeah,
Maybe what they could do is like you get a couple strikes against you.
yeah,
And
that's fine.
If you get
get
a
written
certain
up.
amount of strikes, you're not allowed to
Develop a
promote
game for 10 years.
games for like a year. Like you can't
Yeah.
promote any game
Yeah,
that you're
something.
working on Steam for a year, so that they actually think about like, can we actually finish this? Do we have the time to do it? Like that's a problem. Like if you don't have the time to finish a game, you need to be upfront that it's highly likely we won't finish this game,
Yeah,
and just do that, because then people will be like, well, maybe I shouldn't buy into this. And
Right.
I think it's, yeah, you can say, I agree with you that it's partly on our fault, but they do whatever they can to trick us into buying it.
They do.
They do whatever they can because money, money, money.
so I think we beat that with a dead horse. Early access is kind of plaguing games, and there needs to be a stop, or at least something needs to be done about it. So to segue into the next one, speaking of an early access game, Hunt Showdown, which I find pretty fun. It is an early access game. It was $30, which is pricey for an early access game. But I think what the game provides to the genre, the battle royale kind of genre, I think it helps it. There are some things that I definitely don't like about it, and there are some things that definitely need to be changed. But for the most part, I'm having fun. Is it well spent $30? I don't know. I mean, have you guys had? I don't think you guys purchased or bought the game or played the game yet. So, What are your
Hmm.
opinions about it based on what
I've
you've been seeing and watching?
I've only seen streamers play it, YouTubers play it for a bit. I it looks like an interesting take on it, um, on the whole battle royale thing. It's more unique than most of them,
Yeah.
in my opinion, because usually they're just copycats of what's already come out, and it's just the same crap. For the most part, I don't
Fortnite is
find,
literally a copycat, except you can build in it. That's the only difference.
yeah,
It's unique.
Yeah.
but like for me, I can't watch battle royale games like from. I only watch, if anything, people who make like highlight reels of their stream. They might throw in some type of battle royale highlight from it,
Yeah.
because otherwise it's a lot of downtime of waiting until
Oh yeah.
something happens, because
Yeah.
the maps are so huge.
Right.
It may be 100 people, but it's so huge and it's scarce that
People
you'll
die
come
within the
across
first
somebody.
5 seconds. Like,
Yeah,
Yep.
and then if they find somebody, they might die. Then they have to leave the game, go back into queue. Once they get into a lobby, they're waiting in the lobby for another 30 seconds. Then they're up in the plane. Then they got to go back and do it all over again. It might be another half an hour of nothing.
yeah.
So
And
it's a
and
lot of
that
waiting
that's
for
one of
very
the
quick
issues.
payoff.
That's one of the issues I don't like about this Hunt Showdown game specifically is that the way it's designed, where in PUBG and in Fortnite you would have a timer that brings the map and consolidates it, and so all the players have to come to a certain point, pretty much like melee range, and deal with it. And so the match can only go to a certain time. In Hunt, there is no time limit, so you can literally get the 3 clues and just camp by the spider or the bounty, the butcher or the spider, and just sit there and wait for players to start it and go in there and just rock them. And then you have to fight the bounty by yourself, but the spider has a glitch where you can just keep it inside and open up a door and shoot it and close it. Hunt Showdown is banging. It is. I like Hunt
It
Showdown.
is
It's great.
banging.
It's just there are a lot of problems with it. I think the clues are boring. There's no reason to, like, sure, there's a potential opportunity that you can meet another player by going to a clue because you're both, beelining for it, and you intersect and then you have to deal with that player. Sure, it gets people to kind of have to deal with each other when they're faced with it, but 90% of the time I get to a clue, I pick it up and I just fuck off. There's no one there. And then the other 10%, someone's camping. They camp the clue. I think the clues need to be adjusted and need to be better. And then the whole idea of, you pick up the 3 clues and then the maps kind of consolidates and becomes smaller to these, to where the bounty actually is. Again, no time limit, so you just go there and you just wait. You just wait. If you're the first person there, you just wait until someone comes up, and then you just rock them with a shotgun or snipe them in the headshot, and then you move on. Which brings me into my next point. The aiming in that game needs to be
It's
adjusted.
fucked.
The aiming in that game it's just a disaster. Like trying to shoot people with a rifle. First off, when I first started, like I just found out today. I got the game last week, and aiming is lit. Yeah, it's so lit. So
Thursday?
yeah,
Thursday.
so yeah, I think I got it Thursday. So I got the game Thursday today. I found out that you have to go into the menu to actually adjust the being able to aim down the iron sights. They make it so it's a two-step process. So you have to key a aim, which apparently when you aim at the rifle, you aim like this. Like you put it
Yeah.
against your head and you
Go like
aim down the
this.
side of the barrel. And then that's fine. No, it's not fine. And then you have to press another button to actually aim down the sights. So you can actually be sniper with a rifle or whatever you want to do, but so you can actually aim properly. But when you it feels good with shift. Oh yeah, when you sprint, yeah, you can sprint aim on the side like that. That's great. But when you want to get an accurate shot on someone, you have to be crouched, aimed, and then aimed again. So all that time, that guy's gonna dome you. He's just gonna dome you, or he's gonna run up to you and knife you and melee you. You just sound upset, mad cause bad.
Well, no,
No, I'm not
it's
upset. There's a problem when you have to take a two-step process to do a simple thing as aiming. In real life, it doesn't take two-step process, and if they're trying to replicate it to be like real life, then they're doing a bad job. There's different ways of aiming. I get that. There's hip shooting. There's just a soft aim if you want to call it that. But when you aim at something, you're aiming down the sights, It shouldn't be something that's complicated. Um, it's
I
just a
mean,
simple thing that they're just making a problem for rather a solution for.
they could probably just attach that side aiming to shift whenever you're running. So if you're running and you hit
Mhm.
aim, it just does the side aim, and then when you're not running, you just aim down sights.
Yeah, you
I
could do that too.
if that's boring just to aim down sights when you aim in the game, then I why are you playing a shooter?
Well,
I
you have
don't.
to if you're shift clicking and then right clicking, you have to have that mapped. If you don't have it mapped, it won't do it. I had to map it for mine. It was not mapped at all when I went into the key bindings. So I
That's kind of
found out
weird.
today that aiming down the sights was not mapped at all. Um, so that was one of the problems I have. On top of that, the there's small bugs that aren't really game breaking, but there's bugs where if you take an elevator or use an elevator incorrectly, you just die, which isn't fun. The loading screens are fucking, they take forever. Um, well, also, if you hold shift and right click, that's still two-step process. That's two different keys, just to clarify.
And to shoot, it's 3.
Yeah, and to shoot is three.
Ah,
Yeah,
So like yeah, like if you yeah, so if you have to hold shift and right click, that's a two-step.
early access. And we're right back to topic one, early access. And I get it. And I like the game. I would recommend someone to buy it, even though it's extremely expensive. I find it really fun, and I find it to be. There's some things I would change. The clues, I would change the clues. The aiming would be a little adjusted, and the whole bounty is fucking awesome. Like I like the idea of the bounty, and if they expanded on it a little bit, that'd be fantastic. And if their focus right now, like they've been saying, is their focus to fix all the glitches and the bugs that's going on, the game's gonna be great. But everyone right now on Steam is like, I couldn't even play it on my laptop, so this thing must be garbage. Those people need to stop buying games because they're not helping the case whatsoever. If you're having problems with networks and stuff like that, absolutely. It's an early access game that they they put out there that they've been hyping for a while now. I've been following it for months, and as soon as I saw it, I instantly bought it, and I started playing that day, and I had no issues until today. Literally no issues with network disconnects or anything like that. Just a little desyncing problems, and that's it.
Have you now you can do either day or night in that game. Have you played at night in
I've
the
only
game yet?
played daytime right now. I'm still trying to get used to the mechanics of the game. Still melee in the game is still a little wonky.
Mm.
Like you have like a charge attack, and then when you charge, you do like kind of like more damage, but it gives you like more range, a little bit more range. But
Okay.
it's like the hitboxes of the melee and then the player is a little weird. If you time it wrong, you're fucked. Which is that's just it is what it is. Um,
Okay.
Knight has amazing FPS. I imagine that Knight would have more. I
you
like
have better FPS, yeah.
because there's nothing that you have to really see. Yeah, and that's what people are saying is that the nighttime is what really makes the game really good because the sound quality, I'd give it 10 out of 10. The sound of that game is fucking phenomenal. It's just great. The overall experience, I'd give it probably a 75 right now. And if they fix everything, they'd go to an 80. And if they added another map and more hunters and more things, I would give it an 85.
What
So
about the creatures that you hunt? Have any of them really stood out to you when you played it?
the spider, dude, the spider.
Yeah, you were
Yeah.
terrified last
Dude,
night with the
I fought the spider last night, and
your face.
it's not like all right. So, in real life, spiders do not creep me out. I'm not bothered by spiders at all. I like spiders. They're friendly. They kill the bad bugs that I don't want. So cool, spiders. You can stay in my room. That fucking thing, I would kill it with fire 10 times. That thing
Burn the
can.
house down around it.
It's not even. So here's the thing. It's not even a spider. I think it's actually a camel spider. It's like an enlarged camel spider. So they have those claws
Oh,
in the front. So it's more related to a scorpion than it is a spider. But the thing is that it sits on the ceiling, and it just makes this clicking sound, and then it just walks across the ceiling, and then you get to it and you shoot it, and I shit you not, the thing like traveled like it was probably about like 50 yards, like half a football field of a barn on the ceiling, faster than I can move 30 feet to the door, and it was already on my ass. Fuck that thing.
yeah, that sounds kind of crazy.
Yeah, the butcher's all right. He's kind of creepy, but his problem is that he just lights you on fire, and the fire in this game is fucking stupid. When you get caught on fire, it's like everything's napalm. So
Oh,
and
okay.
apparently like if you stand next to a campfire, you instantly are set ablaze. Like
Hmm.
apparently people are made of gasoline, so that just
Yeah,
happens.
it's all them clothes you're wearing.
Yeah, but it's like the clothes are doused in some kind of flammable thing. It's like, I
That's how
mean,
the monsters don't smell
Well,
you.
yeah,
you've got to soak yourself in kerosene so that they can't smell you, and then you can go do
I
about
feel
your
like that's the
business.
complete opposite. They're just like,
No.
what is that obnoxious smell?
Nah. See, I think from what I've seen, the things that bother me right now is one with the matchmaking. If you queue solo, you should go into a map where that's all solos.
Right.
I think there's
Oh,
enough people that queue solo that there should be a solo queue.
and that's the thing too is that I only queue solo, which I guess is a bad thing. I mean, everyone says that you have to play it at night and you have to play it with duels. Like you have to
Yes,
play with
that's what
another
I've heard too.
person to actually experience the game. I enjoy playing by myself because I don't have to rely on another person talking to me because the chat, the voice chat in it, you can hear like if you're not in a party with them, you can hear them talking. So I'm kind of on the fence about that. I kind of like it, and I kind of don't like it. But I always play solo because I find it um, better for me to learn the game that way instead of having to worry about someone else. So I can just kind of be me, and then if I fuck up, I can blame it on the game.
Perfect.
That's
So I
good.
don't know. I had a problem with that, and then I think I'm not sold on the team size yet. So like one of the things that PUBG does that I like is these big team sizes. This I don't know if it's because the map is so big and have this massive map for two-person teams is just too big, or what. But like it doesn't feel like the game. It feels like the game could support having bigger teams, and I don't know why they capped it at two.
Yeah, I agree. The maps are really big. Oh, it's the map's huge actually, and I think it's 8 to 10 people on a
I
map.
was gonna say 8 to 10, and it's groups of two,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's huge for that little bit of
They can
space.
easily do 3v3s. They can easily do 4v4s. But they would again, that would be something that they would have to designate. Those maps would be just for 3v3s. Those maps would just be for 4v4s. Because if you're a solo going against threes or
Yeah.
fours, you're fucked. You're already at a
Well, no,
disadvantage with
no.
twos.
Have real matchmaking where you decide that if you go, so you go to this map that's it's going to be a 3v3, or say let's even go crazy. Let's go. It's a 20 versus 20. When you queue in, you go part of that group. There's no solo queue in with like a 30
Oh, I
versus
see what you're
30 or
saying. So it's
so like
like it's like deathmatch kind of thing. It's like you are a part of one faction, a larger faction.
yeah.
Gotcha. I mean, yeah, they could do something like that. I just feel like then the bounty becomes easier, because then you
I'll
have,
buff the bounty up.
I mean, you have to buff it quite a bit for 20 people or 10 people because it'd be 20 on 20, so it'd be 10 versus
Well,
10.
the PVE in that game, from what I've seen, is just something here. The real draw of this
Yeah,
is
pretty much.
fighting the people.
Yeah, the
Just the
trash
PVE
mobs.
is the objective.
Yeah, the trash mobs or the grunts or the hives or the whatever. Yeah, but people in Fortnite will queue with villain squad and then shoot the extra person on their team because they don't want to carry. That's fucked up.
Well,
That's dumb.
no,
Well, it
that's just
sounds like
fucked.
that community has
Yeah,
problems.
Yeah,
that's
that's
a
just dumb.
community problem.
That's
That's
yeah.
Like
not
if
that's not a
you're
game problem. That's a community
if
problem.
if you're a hardcore player of a game where you can do just matchmaking, random matchmaking, and you don't want to have someone on your team that may or may not be as experienced as you, just a fill-in, as you say, and you just kill them, then stop playing random matchmaking and wait for your friends to join with you and just play that way. Because
No,
it's like you always
But
as
there's no.
being part of a player community in a video game, you always want it to grow because there's just more people that you can play it with. If you don't
But I don't
carry
get
those
that.
people, as you say, and help them learn to play the game, they're never going to like it, and then they're just going to leave it.
But I
you
don't. I
kill the
don't.
player base.
I don't get that though because it doesn't really help you if they're part of your team or not. So if you kill them, then you're down a person. You're not carrying them anymore. But if you don't kill them, they could potentially get a kill. So what does it matter? Like they're it's not like I mean I guess they could kind of reveal where you're hiding, but if you tell them to fuck off, I'm pretty sure 90% of the people would be like, all right, I'm fucking off. But elitists need
Well,
to be
I mean,
elite. Elitists can.
in some of those games, like for Fortnite and PUBG, there's a resource instead of having a PVE aspect. There's a resource aspect where you're going around gathering resources. So it's one less person to gather resources, but still, unless they give you a position right, what does it really matter?
Exactly.
Let
There's
the person just play the game. I don't know. That it's like Will said, if you want to poison your community, poison it away, but you're just being an idiot. You're
Yep.
going to kill that game off by poisoning the community.
Yep, by being an elitist, and I get it.
By
People,
being elitist. And you know what? You're really not that great. It's a fucking video game, people.
yeah. I
And
mean,
with the team size in Hunt, I think the team size being so small on a large map will add to the atmosphere of the game.
true.
Because
You'll never really see people.
that, and it'll help lull you into just a sense of
Safety,
just
false safety.
yeah, like
There's
you're
been plenty of
fine
times.
for now.
Yeah,
and
there's
it'll
plenty of
trick you
times
into
I'm
thinking
like
no
just
one's
sprinting
around.
along, and all of a sudden I get domed because I'm not paying
Yeah.
attention. So yeah,
Because like you said, the sound quality being so nice in that game means like you really need to pay attention to the sounds around you,
Mhm.
and it's not so much seeing them but hearing them first, and then getting ready to either set up an ambush or I don't know, go right at them from there.
right. Yeah, that's the thing is that I do agree that if they kept the atmosphere the same, I'd be okay with that because the atmosphere is really good. I haven't played it at night, so I'm only going off of daytime. So daytime um, would, you know, I can only imagine it'd be exponentially better because the atmosphere in daytime is great. Even in the daytime where it's nice and shiny, I sometimes just run into shit and I'm just like, where the hell did you come from? I can't imagine what that would be like at nighttime. Nighttime, I'd probably be terrified. And that's probably where the game really shines. But I don't think they should remove the daytime because it's like a soft, it's like kind of like it allows you to train and get better. Which brings me to another point. They should have some kind of practice arena. Like some kind of,
They did a practice round, or even like a gun range.
yeah, exactly.
Just-
Like a gun range would be perfect. Same with PUBG and Fortnite. They need them because if you don't have time to sit there and dedicate to throw yourself at the game and die over and over again to understand how a gun works, then you're not going to be successful at that game. Same thing with Hunt Showdown, especially with the long load times. It cuts into your time. Some people don't have all the time of the day to play a game, so they can maybe get one game in before they have to go to bed. So maybe adding a practice range so people can sit there and actually get adjusted and accustomed to certain weapons, then everything would be fine because then they go into it and go, all right, well, I know how the gun works. I just fucked up or whatever.
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but that's actually one of the few things that Overwatch did that I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
When you were in matchmaking, before the match started, it put you in that just practice, go fuck off.
Yeah.
And it gave you time to just kind of practice a little bit and then get into the match. It gave you that warm up.
I mean,
Yeah,
PUBG and
warm up.
Fortnite kind of does
A
that.
little bit of warm up.
They kind of do that, but it doesn't. It's like 30 seconds, and it's sure it helps. It gets you, going and feeling like that. But you have to hunt for the gun. You have to it just becomes.
Yeah, there's a difference. Like,
Yeah,
you should be able
exactly.
to start. Give me something. Like, if you had a practice area like that, you would have figured out much earlier that, hey, what do you mean I can't aim down the sights? And you would have taken a look. But when you're just thrown in, you're like, all right, I got to deal with what I got here. So the only way I know is I aim like this to go shoot. So
Yeah.
this is how I'm going to aim, and this is what I have to deal with.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, a practice range, just so that you have access, not even access to every gun, just access to the guns that you already have access to, your account does, so that you can get used to them. This way, you increase the skill level of the game, and then you make it so that you're not just spraying and praying, or like, oh, this gun can only shoot one. Like when I had the one shotgun, the side by side, I had no idea if it shot both shotgun rounds at the same time or one. I had to find out by jumping off of a dock and just shooting someone in the back to find out. I mean, I could have shot something random like a grunt, but
No, you can't waste ammo on that.
well, yeah, because then you reveal your position. So it's
Yeah.
like, but I guess I don't reveal my position when I shoot a player. So, but
Well, that is my favorite part of that. Is like when you see something coming at you, you have to make the decision of, all right, I could shoot it,
right,
but I reveal where I am.
yeah, which is cool.
Or I can
like
knife
that.
it, and it can
Just
kill
knife,
me.
just knife everything. Just knife everything. Charge up that knife; it kills pretty much everything one shot. Well, the lower level grunts. The
Even
bigger-
though I
the
was
hi-
watching some guy yesterday, there was the women with the head on the side. He was just running over, knifing the face, and they just whoosh, and moving on.
Oh,
guys
the
with
hives.
explosive-
Yeah, I don't
yeah, the
even. I
hives.
don't touch
Things
the
with-
hives. Fuck the hives.
Things with like the guys that are carrying Molotovs, just stabbing in the face and walking away.
yeah, the
He had
guys with the
brass
Molotovs
knuckles,
are
he was
fine.
just punching everything in the face.
Melee is strong, maybe too strong because you can charge it up and do it. But if you don't,
Just
you have
whack
to
it.
you have to hit everything 3 times. But I think that the hitboxes, the registers, the melee is a little off. I feel like some weapons, I feel like I'm connecting, but it doesn't. So I'm just like, oh, and then you have this delay of time before you can do anything. Plus, there's this thing where if you melee something, and then you go to shoot them being staggered back makes them invulnerable to damage. So there's like a half a second of you like shooting them in the face and them taking no damage. So
That's
there's-
aggravating.
It is, but it's early access, so it's fine. Everything's fine.
Well, it depends. See, that's the real thing. Is it could be early access. It depends on what they do with the feedback.
Yeah. So I made a list of the things that I would like for them to change, or not change, but this is what I would want from this game, and I would feel like I got my $30 back. First and foremost, fix the small latency and network issues and the small bugs. Those are the things that you have to fix. Once you fix that, then you have a base game to like work with.
Start with.
I would like more maps. Eventually, not like now, like it's early access, but more maps would be cool because the same map it gets a little boring.
You don't like the bayou?
I don't mind the bayou. It's just I don't like how everything is always consistently where it is. I guess some people like that, but I like randomly generated stuff because then it's always different. And, everyone's on the same kind of playing field because
Yeah,
everyone's
it's
kind
different
of
every time.
yeah, exactly. More entities to hunt. You only have 2 right now, but I get it. You know, you're testing it and everything. So
Yep.
I assume they'll add more, but that would be something that I would want. Practice mode for learning weapons. We already established that. Kill cam. Kill cam. Have a fucking kill cam. So many times I've died and I have no idea how I died. And I just chalk it up to some amazing sniper with a better weapon that's on the fucking next state over. Like, I don't know. There's been so many times I just died. I'm like, no idea. Or some guy managed to kill me with some melee weapon from so far away. And I'm just like, I would like to see the kill cam of that because I want to see if it was a desyncing issue or if it was just me being that bad or my eyesight being that terrible. So kill cam. It's just something simple. It doesn't need to be anything crazy. And I think a hit marker from when you're getting hit, like they have the sound quality, which is great, but when you're in the heat of the moment, you can't hear anything. You just hear a thud where it came from, and it goes off of your headset. And as long as your headset can do, surround sound, you're good. But if it can't, then you have no idea. So being shot somewhere, there should be a hit marker essentially telling you. Maybe there is. I'm just fucking an idiot and I don't see it. But if there isn't, they should add it because when you're being snuck up on and you get shot and you just start panicking, just start sprinting out into the field, serpentining, and the guy is standing in front of you the whole time, it's pretty dumb.
Just like he's like, what are you doing?
So many times I've like ran into the bushes and hid behind a tree and like he can't see me, and then I get domed anyway because he's behind me the whole time.
He's just watching you stand by the tree. Like, are you just gonna stand there?
Yeah, the sound sounds like it's coming from forward, and I'm like, okay, he's that way, and then I just peek around, and then I get shot from the back of the head, I presume, because there's no fucking way he saw me from that way. So those are the things, those are the things that I would like for the game. Everything else would be just icing. There's obviously things like the team size that really doesn't bother me. Solo doesn't bother me, but those are the things that I would like to change.
Okay.
All right.
Which actually brings us to the next thing that we're going to discuss. Since Hunt Showdown, there is spiders, there are the butcher, but a lot of the things that you have to fight, like the trash mobs, if you want to call them that, are zombies essentially. And Becker's
I
apparently
am
not.
so fucking sick of zombies.
But
It was
like,
fine with Left 4 Dead. I thought it was awesome when Left 4
like
Dead
a
came out.
decade ago.
Yeah, when Left 4 Dead came out,
Leave it
when
there.
the first Walking Dead came out, and we were like, wow, this is great. Now everything has fucking zombie mode. Hey, you guys want to play Call of Duty Black Ops? We can do the zombie level. Go fuck yourself. I am so sick and tired of fucking zombies. Plants vs. Zombies. What is the game that you're playing? The 1 billion game where it's fucking tower defense against.
Oh
what is
yeah,
that?
they are billions. Yeah,
What's the enemy? What is the enemy again? Oh, that's right.
the
fucking
infected.
zombies.
The infected.
Okay, you can call them infected. You can call them whatever you want. They're fucking zombies, and I'm sick of it. It's like the lazy writer way of being like, I only can equivalent to like so. In when you're writing like science fiction, like hard science fiction, they're like the idea of having like, what is it? Inertial dampers is the cheap way of being like, I don't want to deal with fucking gravity. So everything has inertial dampeners. Don't worry about it.
Well,
In
yeah,
gaming right
it's like the
now,
kobolds of
yeah,
D&D.
zombies are the same thing. Yes, they're the kobolds of D&D, except they're so annoying because they're everywhere now. I can at least get over kobolds, but oh yeah, Red Dead Redemption, zombie mode. Zombie mode can go fuck itself. I'm sick and tired of it. Think of something more original.
Well,
Like, think of how many.
what would you?
Just think about the amount of games that came out with zombies.
I can't think of a single one.
Dying Light,
Rainbow Six Siege just got
No, they
a
were
zombie mode.
infected.
Rainbow Six Siege has it. It's a fucking shooter game.
Yeah, well, yeah, and it for them, their
It's-
zombie mode, if you want to call it that, it looks a lot more fun than other ones. Like you have specific objectives that you're going to do. It's and there's a story to it as well that you get cutscenes for and everything. Like they actually put. I mean, Call of
Fortnite
Duty ones,
PvEs against zombies.
the big the zombies in Call of Duty, they really expanded upon how ridiculous the puzzles are in that game, and it's all about getting through performing these multiple tasks that are just ridiculous all over the map, leading to like a huge boss fight and getting these amazing weapons, these epic weapons that do crazy things themselves, and there's even I think there's like sort of a story to it. I don't know if it's connected, like all the zombies games are connected to each other, but I know there's some sort of story, and they started putting in celebrities with character backgrounds for it and whatnot, and it's gotten huge, at least for the Call of Duty franchise. That's a thing that you get excited for, and I can understand it. Like it's like some of the maps are really intricate, really complex.
Some people are just Call of Duty bros. What are you gonna do? I don't
But
care. I
just
just.
stop with the god. Think of something else.
What would you put there instead of zombies? Vampires?
Think? No.
Where sheep.
Where's she?
Wear sheep. Fine, wear sheep. I don't care.
Yeah.
Just do something different. Like, I mean, what blows my mind is you have all these people working on the same concept. Something zombie. 7 Days to Die. Zombies. State of Decay. Zombies. Dying Light. Zombies. What's the stupid one with the guy with the camera from like the original Xbox that had zombies? You had to get out in like 4 days or whatever.
I can see it. I can see it.
So what you're saying is that zombies.
Dead Rising.
Okay.
There you go.
So you're
So here, I just Googled. I wrote Google zombie games. And there's a lot of. Let's no, I'm not.
Zombies
I'm
Ate
not
My
even
Neighbors. That was more unique.
so
That was on the Sega.
what would you replace them with? So what
start.
about
Be original.
Like
Be original.
well,
like what?
So I don't care what you use. Like really,
What about zombies?
I don't care.
Let's use
Just be
zombies.
original. Just not zombies. So like the only
So-
time that
What if it was, instead of zombies, it was some of the other classic monsters from
I'm
those
fine with
old
that.
black
Like-
and white. Like there's the werewolf and you're trying to hunt that down, but there's sort of
perfectly fine with it.
because the vampire can have thralls. They can make thralls. They
Which
can
are
even
zombies.
ones that are just humans. Yeah, thralls. But they could have their own little horde of vampire
For those that are listening,
servants and stuff like
Becker
that. And
gave
some
me
of
the
them are
finger.
humans that are helping them out. You know, kind of in like the Blade universe, it's vampires / humans that
Yes.
are working together. So they could do something like that, where you're hunting down the main vampire, trying to
about, like-
end the whole curse or whatever.
I'm okay with. I'm good with that. But just use something else. So like, you want to use zombies? Fine. You use
Original
zombies.
Mr.
But
Mox?
look at some that's what I'm slipping Jamie off about.
Oh, okay.
But think of something like Dead Space. Dead Space used a zombie variant, but at least they were interesting.
Well,
it
it
wasn't-
was a
An alien
Extra-
virus
it
that
was
took bodies,
extraterrestrial.
killed them, and reanimated them.
correct.
So if you go with the basic definition of zombie, something died, is now reanimated, and wants to kill you.
Necromorphs, thank you.
Yeah,
necromorphs.
necromorphs. Let's be a little,
Yeah,
little
they
original.
dude,
here.
just them skittering about and like
Yes. Like be
It's like a
original.
baby.
I'm a little teapot. I always felt like that's what they were dancing to.
Yeah.
And then they would just like all of a sudden skitter on the floor and chase you, and you're just like, well, fuck.
So
Yeah.
what type of? So does it depend on what type of zombies they use? Because people like to separate. Because there's the
Yeah, it's
slow-moving
scary.
ones that are an ominous, ever
I'm
encroaching.
not terrified of the ominous ones. Are just like the slow moving ones are dumb. I agree with that. It's whatever.
Shaun of the Dead is the only thing I can think of now.
Yeah.
The slow moving one.
But like, because if because I have a thing with fast zombies. Like I don't count those as zombies. It's something else. It's like a disease making them do that. Like almost
Yeah.
like
They're
rabies. Like
infected.
in 28 days later, it was
Right. They're like
a very aggressive
sprinting.
form of rabies that turned
Mhm.
into these things that would
Imagine-
eventually die. But like a
Usain
zombie
Bolt
to me is
running after
like
you.
the person got is brought back from the dead. The brain's been dead for so long. They don't really have high motor functions anymore. They just want to go around and eat, and they can't think. They shouldn't be able to evolve and grow smarter for no fucking reason. Like it's
The
just
Titan, or what was it? What was the big guy?
what in Left 4 Dead.
Left 4 Dead was
Yeah,
The tank
there's
you're
this
talking about?
yeah there's tank.
I don't mind that. That's fine because that came from like a
It's like a
disease that
juggernaut.
was like
Yep.
bioengineered disease and stuff. That yeah, and that's fine. But if you're dealing with like just straight up regular zombies, it's the slow ones that I think of. I don't think of zombies being able to run a fucking marathon to chase somebody down and eat them.
No.
Like that's not there because even in movies like Resident Evil, when dealing with
Yes,
zombies
Resident
from that, the very first movie when the Umbrella Corps team went inside and they came across the first zombie lady, they shot her. Her blood hit the ground and it was coagulated. If your blood's coagulated, your muscles aren't
Don't move.
moving. They just don't move. You
Just
can't have
simple
coagulated blood.
science
You have
and
to do something else. So a disease is like 28 days later. That I can believe if you want to call them zombies, that they're fast running and everything because their blood hasn't changed at all. They're just rabid and they're killing everybody.
My problem is I just feel like it's lazy now. It was
It's
fine in the
very
beginning. It was
tropey.
fine when it like first started because it was like, all right, there's kind of a hype. Now it's just lazy. You've been lazy with your writing. Think of something. Think of anything else. Do like for a while it was like insects. Do insects instead. I don't care what you do. Do giant
What about
worms.
so we could do like a hive mind insect where the hive was infected and they all become zombies. So zombie insects, it'll be perfect. It's not
So
zombies.
so if you want to talk
I
about
can deal with it
insects,
over zombies.
if you want to talk about insects, I could recommend a game for all of us to play because it is that. It's epic battles against like giant insects. So it's called Earth Defense Force.
Oh yeah, that
Oh
fucking game.
yeah.
And you get all
EDF.
these weapons and crazy things. It can get very frustrating at times with certain missions, but it's got that in it. It's got insect spiders, ants, giant spiders that can web you from far away and drain your health out, and big robots and spaceships and everything. So
See, I could deal with that. Like Jamie brought up the point of what about husks from Mass Effect? I don't consider those zombies because they at least had something. I don't know
Reanimated
what my
corpses.
cutoff is, but those
Yeah,
were
you
corpses
can't
that got
pick and choose.
reanimated.
It's
They
either
were
one
people.
or none. It's binary. It's not a
So in my mind, something like the husk in Mass Effect took some creativity. Having just zombies are there. That's just boring.
so
The hunt, there's zombies here. You have to avoid them. They're not important. They're just here to bother you.
yeah, I think that the grunts
Techno zombie.
the grunts and the hives and the whatever else they're called in Hunt are just there to be kind of like they just impede your path and to kind of
They're to call you
reveal
out. They're for you to make a
Right.
dumb decision to shoot it,
exactly
and then everyone hears it
and
comes and
potentially
kills
kill
you.
you. So they have a role, and their role isn't to be hard to deal with. Their role is to just be an obstacle. Whereas a lot of other games, the zombie is everything. It is the game. It is the you have to kill zombies. And then there's some zombies in there that are like stronger than other ones. But I mean, I get it. It's tropey. It's very cliche. It's boring. It's
Just gets me so steamed.
it's just
so would you say it's not
It's
so much
been
that zombies are
said.
in the game, but just how zombies come to be, like story wise, how they were created?
Yeah, it's if you want to do something original, it's how the zombies came into be and what you're using them for. If you're gonna be lazy and the entire point of the zombies to be there to impede you, or it's the main villain here, and your explanation is just weak, just completely they're there, just think of something different. Spend a little bit more time on the writing board here and figure out something. Make it so that your game needs the zombies, they need to be there, and they make sense. Not just like
Yeah.
they're there.
I mean,
And I couldn't
story is
think of it,
definitely huge.
and it's really popular because there's a shitty television show called Walking Dead, and that's what I want to do because I want to capitalize on those fucking numbnuts.
television. I mean, it
That
was
show
good.
went downhill after season one. After
Oh, yeah,
season
I
one,
agree.
the writer was like, "Ooh, I made money. I'm gonna go jerk myself off and write shit
Because
and see how far I can go."
they didn't go with the storyline in the comic for some reason, and I
Because
don't
he was
know
like, "Oh,
why.
that'd be really boring. We're gonna do a comic adaptation, so it's so much better than doing just like a comic."
So then if you were a writer, developer, whatever, for a game, We won't say D&D or like a space D&D like
Okay, if I
Traveler.
would call it a space D&D or a novel.
If it was for a game and you needed to do, let's use Hunt Showdown as an example. So you are creating Hunt Showdown. You want a bounty hunt
Mhm.
PvPvE kind of scenario, atmospheric. What would you do to put the players at a disadvantage or use as an obstacle instead of zombies?
It would have to make sense on what my big monsters are. So if my big monsters are a spider or I don't know, depending on what my big bosses are, I
Cyclops.
would do fine. I would do variants based on that. So like if it was spiders, I would make them some kind of bug, so smaller spiders or some kind of bug that's going to attack you.
So
I would pick a theme.
so based on okay, so the map would be full of based on what you're hunting, whatever the bounty is. So it's the
Yeah,
butcher. The butcher is just
I
some
wouldn't use the butcher as in my game. If I was doing a game, I wouldn't have the butcher. I would pick something and I would stick with it the whole way. So if I decided that I wanted to be, I'm going to do spiders. So I'm going to have the one boss as a spider, one as a praying mantis, one as.
so you'd be insect heavy on a
If that's what I was going to decide to do, if I wanted, I would do aliens. I would do reptiles. I would do anything else. I wouldn't, I wouldn't do zombies because it's so easy to do. There's enough animations, there's enough graphics, enough assets for me to use that I can just be like, whatever. I'll throw them in here. They're not really important to the story. They're not what the boss is. The boss doesn't control them. The boss isn't involved with them. They're just there,
hmm
and the boss exists outside of it.
Okay.
So like for writing, all the stuff that I write, the boss and its minions are related and connected in some way.
Okay. So you would
There's
have
no
like you said a theme based kind of map where
there's this theme. None of my minions are disconnected from their master. They're
okay.
all connected. Even like in V&V with the cockroach people and the mask guy, they're connected. They're completely 100% connected in a story. We just haven't got there yet.
Oh, well. Spoilers.
Um,
So what about you, Will? What would you do instead of zombies or grunts or hives or whatever they call
I'm,
them?
I guess the game as a whole, you could do something where I like movies that have like what was it, Murder Ball, like the old Murder Ball movie, not the one with LL Cool J, but the original one. How
Oh, you
things have
hunt.
gotten to a point with people that it's more of like a game show. So there's a
Yeah.
set area that you're released in.
Mhm.
You don't know what monster you're fighting, and it could be like Sasquatch,
It's kind of like
uh,
Evolve, isn't it?
Abominable Snowman.
Yes,
Yeah, in a way, it's like Evolve. Like
Evolve didn't
Evolve,
suck.
Evolve did it
Yeah.
right. Where I mean, but you could the person that was being the monster can pick what monster they want to be.
Right.
This since there's no one being the monster, it could just be completely
So it'd
random,
just be
and you could
random.
you could dip into monsters of mythology. So things from America that we might have some weird creatures here, things from like China and
Chupacabra.
stuff. Maybe there could be, yeah, like Chupacabra, you're hunting that. Like you could do your own interpretation of that, and you can make it like it'd be like some sort of like game show that you're signing up to play in, and there's like a cash prize or something like that. If they have it based down in like the bayou, which is what it looks like, you could do things with the
Gators.
clues
Voodoo.
that could be like voodoo stuff. So you have to make some
Mhm.
sort of blood sacrifice in order to gain it, or take upon yourself some sort of voodoo curse that you have to deal with
Yeah,
to
no, that
take the
makes
clue.
sense. Especially
That way,
because
like,
the map is based on like it's Creole, so that's
yeah.
voodoo. So yeah,
So
no,
like
yeah.
Use
you
that.
could hamper yourself, like to get a clue to know maybe some like in a general vicinity where the monster might be, you'd have to give something up in order to do that. So that way you have the choice of, no, I'll just walk around and look for it, and hopefully I'll stumble upon it, or I'll gather, one or two clues and then have the best chance of finding it. And other players as well, like the clues can appear like all over the place, so other players can have that choice as well. So you don't know whether you're going to run into a team of people that didn't take that chance and are not handicapped, or they're worse off than you are, or something like that.
Yeah. I think for me, I really don't know what I would replace zombies with, like, because zombies
Mm.
are the easy baseline, like just
Mhm.
throw them at them, let the players kind of dictate what they have to do against them. But something more in depth to these zombies, like maybe like some kind of parasitic thing, entity in them, and you don't want to kill the infected or the person that's been that has this parasitic entity in them. You want to help them. So then instead of just going around and just knifing things in the head and you're just like, yay, and you don't have to worry about zombies because you can bypass them. No, you have to go out of your way to help these people and that takes time, and then it'll make you more vulnerable to the other players. But
Yep.
based on who you help, they're not zombies because you can bring them back. So some kind of parasitic bond or entity that's inside these NPCs that go back to a hive mind, which is the bounty. But I also like the idea that if there's going to be a bounty, why not make it random each time? And the clues are what tell you what your bounty is about, instead of just going to the clues and being like, it's a hole
I'm
in the
going after the
ground.
spider.
Yeah, yeah. The bounty is spider. I'm going to this hole, and that's what it is. So that's going back to the whole Hunt Showdown thing. But to replace zombies for most genres out there, it's tough because they are easy, and that's why they're used. But if you can expand on them to make them a little more in depth, I don't see anything
Then
wrong with that.
you can succeed. Then
Yes.
you have to do work. Don't just put them there and walk away.
So your thing is you just don't want people being lazy and just like, yeah,
You're just
the
lazy
enemy,
with it.
the enemies are zombies. Deal with it. So I get it. I mean, they did that with the insects for a very long time. Insects
They did.
were kind of the cliched go-to bad guy, but I like the bad guy to be always interchanging. So like some kind of parasitic thing is always something that I'm a fan of, because then it's always changing because it's based on who their host is. So
And you know what? Another recent game that came out with zombies was Metal Gear Survive.
is it with
Yes.
zombies?
Yes, it has zombies.
What?
Actually,
like,
to be completely
crystals in
honest,
their
that's
head
what started this.
That
It was is I was watching something on Metal Gear and Hunt and went and blew like a nut.
Is it literally the same exact copy paste thing from Hunt Showdown to
No.
Survive? Okay.
No.
no,
I
it's
was like,
terrible
why? So why is Metal
So
Gear
it's-
getting into zombie? They're like cyborgs
because they
and
don't
shit.
have Kojima there anymore because they
Yeah,
fired
Kojima's
him.
gone, so they're just like, well, this sounds cool. So it's gonna be it's a base building zombie defense,
So Fortnite?
but it's Metal Gear.
No, it's
and
not,
you
it's
play with your
Fortnite.
friends.
It's Fortnite.
And you get a sharp stick to poke them in the head with,
So Fortnite.
and then you have to constantly drink and eat or else you die.
So Fortnite.
And then you have to make sure that the vehicles that you find don't get overheated or else they blow up, and then they
Oh.
blow up again and you
H1Z1.
die. And then
But see, like, do
in
you
order
see
to
how many
in order to cook the
games you're
food
talking
though,
about?
Daisy.
yeah. In order to
just-
cook the
just
food in
lazy.
that game though, you have to go back to the base to cook it. So if you find food, you have to run your ass back to your base, cook it, eat it, then go back out.
It's like Ark with zombies, but no dinosaurs. Dinosaurs should be the
it's
new
just
thing.
bad.
Dinosaurs would be great. We'll just copy paste dinosaurs where zombies are.
God damn it!
So then like
So,
if
when this
so-
takes off, I'm gonna be complaining about dinosaurs now. We're
So
gonna
Orion,
If this
the
takes off,
Orion
yeah.
dinosaur hunter thing.
I think dinos are great. Dinosaurs are great. So here's the thing. No.
no.
Why? See, even Chad agrees with me. Zombies are bad. Dinosaurs are good. Let's do this. I'm just saying, like, there's different types of dinosaurs. What about zombie dinosaurs? Like,
I
they're.
can't with you.
they're
You know what's really interesting
okay, we'll
is
move on.
so I bought Kingdom Come Deliverance,
Okay.
and while I was starting to play it, we were talking about some other things that people were complaining about, character creation. So in a lot of games, you can create a character,
Yeah. Which
and in
is,
some games, you can't.
okay.
So one of the points that Will brought up when we were talking about this is, what the hell do I care what my character looks like? I look at the back of my character's head, or if I see him in a cutscene, he's wearing armor, or I look at hands.
I want my
Which is
hands to
something I
have
didn't really think
nice
about
fingernails.
until I started playing this game, and I went, really, the only thing I see of him is hands, and I couldn't control what he looks like. I don't really give a shit.
Wait,
so
is that
I
like
guess
an
the que-
issue? Like, do people complain about these things?
Yeah,
They,
it was a
yeah,
complaint I heard about the game.
they don't like
Really?
the fact that you can't. Well, yeah, one of the things is like, why can't I make a female character? Why can't I change?
Because the
skin
story's
color of the
about
character?
Henry. Is there?
Why can't I customize Henry?
It doesn't matter anymore. You can't like it's very hard to put out a game where you have an actual character and they have a personality and there's a
I
story.
want to play
for
Tomb
them,
Raider,
and it's
but I want to
fleshed
have a
out.
dick.
You can. It's called what is it?
Uncharted.
It's called Lara
Yeah,
Croft.
Uncharted. It's
Uncharted
Uncharted
is
with
not-
Nathan
Uncharted.
Drake, and it's
I want to be
amazing
Lara
driving
Croft
skills.
though, but I want to be Lauren, because Lauren is
Nope,
a guy's
stop,
name. Lauren
stop,
is a guy's
stop.
name too. Croft.
Her
I-
long lost twin brother, Lauren,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Parents are lazy.
who's also a
Went-
spelunker. And
yeah. I'm just saying that like I don't see what the issue is. I mean, maybe because like I'm a guy, so I don't really care if the gender is male or female. I don't know. I don't get it.
it shouldn't. Well, it shouldn't have anything to do with your gender. at all? Like what? Because they a lot of the times the main character has no real development. There's
So
there's
so
no
they want
fleshing out
Yes.
of them. They're just like
That
a blank slate, and it's like here's every man and every lady, and they are going on this sci-fi adventure to save the every world. But along the lines, they're going to meet this person who's like a drunk. He killed his wife accidentally. He has some issues with night terrors and stuff, and you have to help him. If you go on this friendship mission, he becomes your friend, and then he stops taking his antidepressant pills and whatnot. And he gets better. He stops drinking alcohol. Like all this stuff. Like the side characters are so much more interesting because they have actual character development, whereas
right.
your character is just like, why would you want to be you? You were boring to yourself, like you said, because you brought that up. You don't want to make yourself. And this is Buddy that said he doesn't want to make himself because he is himself every day. And he's
Yeah,
boring.
that's what I said. Is I don't want to replicate reality when I go and play a game. I don't want to look like this in a game. This is fucking stupid. I'm pointing at myself, by the way. I don't want to look at this in a game where I'm riding dinosaurs or flying kites or whatever I wouldn't do in real life in this game because I don't fly kites in real life because who does that, right?
let's go.
You kite up to. I'm just saying, like I don't get the idea. Like the only reason why I would do it is to test the character creation tools. That would be the only reason why I would do it, and to see if I even know off of memory if what I actually look like. It's funny, I don't know what I look like because I always end up like black or something. So I just don't know how I look in real life apparently. But the thing is that I just create characters that are just random. I have no problem randomly generating a character in Divinity 2 Original Sin and just being that thing, whatever that person is, because that person is not me, and that's what I don't want to play. So this whole character creation, I don't get it. I just don't get
See,
it.
I'm only okay. See, I guess I'm fine when there's no character creation when there's a story. Like The Witcher had no character creation. You had very little
Because you're
customization you could do.
Geralt. You can't.
Yeah, but Geralt's story. but
Geralt, whatever.
Geralt didn't start as a blank slate. He had history, and you furthered his story. So instead of really being in control, you kind of helped him unfold the story. You really watched him do everything. So even though he had some decisions to make, it was really his path that you went on.
So
So in those kind of games, there shouldn't be character creation. There shouldn't be.
right,
It is what it is.
Exactly. You can like maybe give him a tan. Maybe he went to a beach for like a weekend or something. Like that's.
But
the
if you
only thing-
don't, you don't. Like in Kingdom Come, I'm not changing him. He is what he is, and I'm moving on.
yeah.
If you gave me a character creation, it doesn't matter because he already exists as a person. When you move into a game I guess Kingdom Come I'm playing, you didn't get a choice. Monster Hunter, you got a choice. I customized my character in Monster Hunter. I hit like 4 buttons and went, this is close enough. And moved on.
If I designed a character in Monster Hunter, they would look so fucking Asian. The Asian people would be offended. That's just what I would do. I wouldn't do anything creative. I'm not creative. I mean, I can be, but it's just with character creation. I don't care. I just don't care.
There was a YouTuber, a group of YouTubers that started playing Monster Hunter when it first came out, and one of them created their character and ended up making something that looked like Steven Tyler with 2 big ponytails
See,
on
that's
the back.
great. That's
So
great.
they named it Steven Tyler and have been playing as Steven Tyler throughout the Monster Hunter
See,
world.
that's what, like, if there's any argument for character creation, it's for that. So
That's
you can
that.
make so you
That's
can
it.
make crazy things like, oh, I made Mike Tyson. I'm gonna play as Mike Tyson, and then you name your avatar as Mike Tyson. You're not vicariously living through this world as this avatar. You're just playing this thing in a game to escape reality, because that's what games are. Like,
I mean, I get why people want to do the character creation. I get that helps them buy in and they get more invested with it. I get that. I can understand why people get really into the character creator.
yeah, I mean, I guess I can see it too. If the character creator tool is very strong, I can totally sit there and just like, ooh, I'm more of a guy that's like more curiosity killed the cats. I'd just be like, yeah, I'm gonna look at all these dials and things and see what I can build.
All the way up, all the way down.
Exactly. Yeah, like Ark. In Ark, it's like I'm gonna design a character that's. I literally designed his name was Thunder.
His arms.
It was no. Thunder was the other guy where everything was Max. So he was this tall, giant black dude, and his name was Thunder. Great. Like that.
And Jamie had what? The arms are like this big.
Yeah, and then
Scary
Jamie's
arms.
character was like he was like an orangutan or something like that. He just made really long arms.
I mean, I remember in Oblivion, the character creator, and that was great because I was able to make a character that shone as bright as the sun.
So you
That's how
just
far you could
blind
take.
people when
Like,
you
yeah, that's how pale you could make it. It got to the point where you were shining by the end of it,
you
and it
just
was
hear
fantastic. 'Cause
screaming off in
it
the
was just,
distance.
yeah, it's just like it's a monstrous creature
You
that
just
you get to create and
oh
go
my
through this world.
God. You just
Put some armor on.
a shop and instantly blind people and their eyes just burn into their skulls.
I wish that was like a mechanic where if you made your skin so pale, it would reflect light in such a way that you could blind people and then easily steal from a store
Just
and
name
get
him
away.
Razzle Dazzle. I feel like Razzle Dazzle is just always on this
There's something
channel.
with Will Razzle Dazzle. I'm not sure what it is.
Because there's a grenade in Divinity 2 called the Razzle Dazzle grenade,
the Popeye
and it
disease.
blinds people, and I love the name. Razzle Dazzle is an amazing name.
It is. I agree. I can't say no to it. But I mean, I think my perspective, I don't see why people are like, if this game doesn't have character creation tool, it's literally unplayable. That to me doesn't make any sense. If I play, Tomb Raider, I know I'm playing Lara Croft, who is a female who is going to be designed this way, and I'm fine with that. The Last of Us, Mirror's Edge. I don't care.
You knew what you're getting when you walked
Exactly,
into those.
you knew what you're gonna get. If you have a character tool, I guess people are like, you have to have a character tool that's like flushed with everything. Otherwise, it's racist. It's sexist.
That's my problem with it.
Like I don't.
If
get
you don't
that.
have every option in there, everyone's like, character creator sucks. This game sucks. Because they like, if you look at Monster Hunter's character creator versus other games, Monster Hunter's character creator is like, you got a couple options, pick from it and fuck off.
And that's like okay.
Same thing with Elder Scrolls.
I mean,
Yeah.
I guess I can't really say because I'm not a girl and I'm not, of any kind of race or like that. So I can't really say whether or not it offends me. But me personally, that's a lot of things that they have to design for the character tool, and that's a lot of shit that they have to work on, and it's another thing that could break in the game. So if
Yeah, no, I agree. It's just people that get offended by that. You're putting blame on somebody for creating a game that they've thought about for quite some time, have worked on for years, under your own assumption that they're doing it intentionally. Like they're intentionally out to offend you. They're
Maliciously
intentionally
doing it.
out to be racist
which
or sexist or something like that. In your opinion, whatever you consider to be
which is
racist or
the
sexist.
wrong way to look about it, because I don't think any developer or gamer or anyone is going out there to maliciously attack a certain race or a certain gender because they didn't design their customer characterization so that it would be their face. Like that's like me going, you don't have this stupid nose on your custom character creation, therefore
You hate
you
stupid nose
hate
people?
me. You don't like me because you don't have my fucked up nose on your custom character. This mug doesn't exist anywhere in your algorithm. Fuck you. You're a piece of shit because you clearly don't like me. What? No, that doesn't make any sense.
Like a character creator that just brought up that just made me confused was the Knights of the Old Republic, because they had some races in it, and some of the options for particular races, I'm like, what the hell is that? That doesn't really. It's almost like a halfway, like a hybrid of
Right.
two, because it hadn't. I guess it's so old of a game that they didn't really have much in the way of making really distinguishing characteristics, but it's all like default preset
Oh,
faces.
like
and
a
it's like some of
cookie
them just
cutter.
like, where the hell did these things come from? Like whoever thought of this had a nightmare
But it's
of this person attacking them was like, I have to put it in the game.
but
'Cause
yeah,
some
but
of them
those
do
games that
look
use
like
photos
some
of
of them
you
do
are
look black,
creepy.
some of them do look white, some of them do look Asian. Other like some of the Asian guys kind of look to me, they look like Latino.
Well, I mean,
But
that's
they're not. Like there's no, there's no Latino option in the game.
which is
So-
another thing too. So then, if it goes to, do you go to every extreme? There's so many different types of races and there's countries throughout the world that we'd have to go through. Every game developer going forward would have to have like an equal opportunity kind of like setup for every single
Nope.
character customization.
I got it.
What?
I got it. We had to stop making video games about humans.
Oh yeah,
Sold.
yeah.
Sold. You got to be aliens or you got to be animals.
You should be
Gone.
zombies.
Yeah.
Oh,
You should be zombies.
nope, nope. Because then my zombie's still a person, and I want to customize my
Well, no,
zombie.
you could be. There's an
I wanna be
option
a
for a
white
zombie where
zombie.
half your head is blown off and your tongue is hanging out.
Yeah.
That way, you'll never
Yeah,
know
see?
what you are.
But then what about the zombies that have a jaw and they're not represented in the game? Then
Well, I know in World of Warcraft, I was a zombie that had a jaw, and I just
Oh, you cut out a bit right there. What'd you say?
in World of Warcraft, my undead had a jaw, so I discriminated against people that didn't have jaws.
Well, I mean, I guess it happens in that reality
No,
of
for now
WoW.
on, everyone has to be aliens. You got to be aliens, or you got to be animals, or you got to be something that it doesn't fucking matter what color you are.
And like another,
I get
like a
I get
group-
the color and stuff like that. And honestly, they should add colors in there that don't exist, like cerulean, which I
Yeah.
guess
Yeah.
is a blue. So fucking throw that in there. Throw in
and like,
ash. Like
with,
throw
with,
in.
with Overwatch, with their characters when they were designing them, they're all like they're all missing limbs or even like almost all of their body, but none of them are in like a wheelchair
I
or
need
something
more
like that, or
healing.
like a hover seat or whatever. Like, but they're
Oh
all
yeah, he's got
handicapped.
some kind of
And
anti-gravity in his.
nobody's like those aren't like, but they have full function of arms and limbs that were blown off or torn off or whatever. Nobody was
Complaining about
offended by the fact that they are handicapped, but they get full movement and full control over their limbs and everything. I
But it's
don't
in the
have
future.
that. Like, no one got pissed.
Yeah, the thing that I think I don't understand is that why are people ranting and raving at the developers saying that they're singling them out or against them? Like I don't that's the thing that I don't
Well-
understand. I can get like, well, if you're gonna have a character that you can create and customize, why not make it so it's really customizable? Sure, I get if you don't want to kind of go half bag in the thing. You want to be able to customize a character pretty, you know, you want to customize a character. I get it. But I don't get why people are taking offense. That's the thing, is that like why are you taking offense to a game that doesn't have your eyes?
I know that in Kingdom Come Deliverance, one of the developers, either the head developer or one of the leads, he's made some comments on, I think, Twitter that have been not even iffy, but just like you shouldn't have said that. No matter, like, I don't know, like just offensive comments. So they've been bringing that back up and have been saying like, oh well, he's just applied his prejudice on this game and deliberately. There's no one.
Well, isn't
of-
it supposed
of
to be
color
like
in the game.
historical or something like that? Like it's
But yeah, they had hired historians
Historians
to let
help
them
them
know.
with
It takes place in medieval Bohemia, I think around the
Yep.
1400s.
Yep,
And
1400s.
it's inland. It's cut off from water, so there's no trading at like a port or anything. And I think the area that it's supposed to be is ancient, like the area that the Czech Republic is right now, which still today is a predominantly white population, like massively a white population. Like 0.4% is
So-
non-white or non-white Czechs.
So it's as historically accurate as possible, according to Acid Shadow. So
Yeah,
is
so
that
that
so
you can have some
Yeah.
kind of drama in it.
As it can be.
as it can be? Obviously, there's going to be some variables that might not be correct, or some things that are going to be, they can't know, like how many people he's had sex with and stuff like that. So there's going to be things that they're not going to be able to. But you play as this close to historical accurate character, and people are upset that you can't customize this person.
Not even so much that you can't customize it, just that there's just like for the most part it's just all white people.
It's the same complaint that came out with Mountain Blade, that if I make a female, then I have a harder time in Mountain Blade becoming king. Yeah, you're right, and the
Because
game
you
tells
can't
you
be
that
king.
up
You
front.
you can become queen.
You can be queen, but I mean, the game tells you that up front, that it's a harder experience as a female.
Just fucking kill everybody that says no to you. Like
Yep.
you want to be queen, fucking kill them. If they say no, kill them.
Kill
Get
him.
rid of them.
It's,
You are the queen.
So
head
now,
people.
is that because they're trying to keep to the historical
they're
part of
trying to
it?
keep to the same kind of theme of that era.
Which
all.
during
'Cause-
that
'cause you-
time, that's what happened. So I get. I mean, I guess I can understand why they're like, well, this is bullshit. I can't play as my gender, and it's hard to
You
do. but-
absolutely can. It's just harder. That's all. So do it, and go. Ha! Guess what, bitches? You fucking idiots that played as a male. I did it. I did 10 times better than you did because it was much harder. And I would turn around and say, "You're a better player than I am. Good for you. I played as a guy because it was easy."
So then you fit the whole zombie developer guy.
Yep. It was just easy to be a
Don't
man, and I was a man.
don't be
Okay.
lazy in your design for the game, but be lazy in the way that you play the game.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's
Okay.
that's the way he lives his life.
Gotcha.
Dual blade character, dual blade hunter and monster hunter. I'm lazy.
I guess because I'm a white male, I can't really say whether or not this bothers me because I could care less, honestly. My whole thing is that the game better be good and that their focus point should be on something that's like the story that they want to tell. And whether or not you can do custom characterization or not, I don't care. Some games, I guess you kind of need it, like in GTA 5. GTA 5 character creation is garbage, but I don't care. Like, I just don't care. It's not a big deal. I get like, oh, but there should be
Your character that's Asian.
mine?
Yeah,
No, he's not.
No,
he isn't. I thought he
No.
was Asian.
No, exactly. Point proven. GTA 5 character creation's garbage.
I mean, have you taken? You've seen Christie's character.
Yeah.
Oh God, Chrissy's cameras are at Amazon.
She's jacked and bigger than all of us.
Yep, she is.
Which
She
is,
could kick
you know,
the shit out
it's
of all of
awesome.
us.
That's what she wanted to do, and that's fine, and that's great. And you know what? I mean, I don't think she really cared for it, the character creation, because she was like, I can't paint my hair green or something like that. I was like, okay.
No, she couldn't. There's no sliders on it. You picked your ancestors, and
Oh,
that was
that's what it was. Yeah, it wasn't really character customization. It was like picking your.
it. Was
parents.
pick your grandparents, pick your parents. All right, now you're fucked.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now
And
you're-
Jamie and I both had John Marston as a grandparent. We're like, this is gonna be great. It's gonna be Marston. What's better than this? We look like idiots.
yeah. So, again, I just, my focus, or if I was a developer, my focus would be on making the game worth playing, and then I'll add in the whole tool to make the customization equal and fair for everyone. But I mean, if you're designing a game to be extremely accurate historically, then there's no reason to design it like that. There's no reason to add that. The eternal black eyes, yeah. So I can't get behind anyone that's complaining about that kind of thing because it just doesn't make sense to me. That's just my opinion. Like, there's other things to be bitching about. Like, I don't know, who's the president of the United States? Maybe we should be focused on something like that instead of me being able to play as a
No,
woman.
we're gonna talk about character creator and how unfair it is that I can't be purple in the character creator.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. If you can do character creator, add purple in there. Add black, purple, yellow, pink, blue,
I want to
green.
be red.
Get red. Add all the colors. Don't stop just at the races.
You're muted, Will. I want to be me.
I want to look crystalline.
Just opaque. Just-
Yes,
I want to be me after I see the sun.
yeah.
A burnt husk? Yes, I think you should.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so speaking of not being able to talk about these things because we're white men, let's talk about Black Panther.
Yeah. I saw it. You guys
I did
didn't.
not.
Okay. So
I
and
was going to, and then you gave me your review and went, "Yeah, I'm not going to watch that movie."
so I mean the thing is that like we can talk about it because it's a movie and it's a comic book and it's a Marvel and I like Marvel. So I'm going to talk about it because I don't care who the casts are. They can be aliens from the moon. They can be Lunarians. I don't fucking care. What I care about is that the directors and the direction of the movie just didn't portray Black Panther as a good movie, in my opinion. I mean,
A good character.
like exactly, like we all know that T'Challa is a great guy and everyone respects him and he's loved and Wakanda's great and powerful and that's fucking great. Like that's great. I'm glad that everything is all hunky dory in Wakanda. The problem I have is how did he get to that? How is he respected like he was by everyone else? There's a scene where he's like doing the whole tribal fight and everyone's just like, yeah, we're not gonna fight you, and then they like give him the salute, and then the other like group or tribe says that we're not gonna fight you and give him the salute, and everyone's just smiling and everything's happy and sunny, and it's like, cool, everyone likes him. I'm glad that everyone likes him, but why? Why does everyone like him? It's never really. There's no reason to it. I mean, I don't want to like reveal too much in case you guys do want to watch it. I just think that I don't think it deserves the rating it got. I just don't think it's one like there's titles out there that I see on like Rotten Tomato and Facebook, it's the best movie of all time, and that's just bullshit because it's not. It is absolutely not. It's not even the best Marvel movie. So I can't get behind the fact that these guys did a pretty poor job at trying to portray a pretty cool character. Just my opinion.
Yep. I mean, I've watched some reviews on it. I've heard your review of it and other people that have seen it. I think for the most part, people have said that it's all right.
Yeah, I'd
I
give
guess
it
would be
all
a way
right.
to sum it up. It's all right. The CG looks really good. The city of Wakanda is cool.
Yeah.
They like the characters in it. They really like the villain in it more than other villains in Marvel movies because it's not just the usual stereotypical one where I'm going to either take over the world or destroy the world
Right. It's not
with really no reason just because I want to
right.
type thing. Um, so I guess from what I've heard review wise, it's worth a watch.
I would say you guys should go watch it to make your own opinion about it because what I find about it, I didn't find it entertaining, and I felt they just forced a lot of things that like the comedy I just felt like was not needed. I still recommend everyone to go see it if they have the ability to. Absolutely go see it. But me personally, I just couldn't. I wasn't entertained at all. There's like maybe one scene that I was like, yeah, I'm digging it, and then
You know what it really sounds like to me? It almost sounds the same review that you gave me for Batman vs Superman.
I hated Batman versus Superman.
But the criticism you gave that was the same criticism you gave this. You didn't explain why. The movie didn't explain why on anything.
It jumped around. It like none of it made sense. Like Batman, the one scene
No,
that
no. What I
really
mean
pissed
is,
me off about Batman versus Superman is when he's sitting in his like tumbler or whatever, his Batmobile, or was it the jet, whatever. No, he was in the tank. That's right. He was in like the bat tank or something, the bank. He was in the bank, and Superman walks up and just rips the door off of it, just like
the roof,
like
the roof. But
the,
yeah,
yeah, the roof. Okay, so it's not even hinged. It's not. It's like soldered.
Superman just
Not
like
soldered,
takes
but
it off.
welded.
Like, yeah, here
He
you
just
go.
like peels it over like he's about to feed his cat some cat food, and then Batman like swells up on him like he's gonna fucking do something. Sit the fuck down, child. You're about to get turned into a basketball. Like, what are you going to
But
do?
your initial criticism of that was the movie didn't make any sense and it didn't explain anything.
And
And the first thing you said about Black Panther was the movie didn't explain anything.
It didn't.
And I have a lot of questions. So it's like almost like
I mean, they
Marvel went, what did DC do? Let's
Let's
do
do
what
that,
they did.
yeah.
And see, let's see if it
kind of.
works.
I mean, in the beginning, the one thing that I did like is the beginning, the opening of Black Panther. They did this like kind of like touch of they like went over what happened in the past and how the Black Panther and how Wakanda came to be, and they did this through the sand. Like everything
Okay.
was sand and animated sand, and it was really cool, and I thought it was a good idea. But I would have rather watched that story, how that became and how that became this great country or civilization or
So
whatever.
start back further and make your way to where it is
if
now.
if it was up to me, I would have done like the the protagonist and the antagonist meeting up and fighting this kind of like this end all be all fight, and then go back and see like and then go, this happened, years ago, and then how they grew up or they didn't, or what happened, and how T'Challa, Black Panther, became so respected from everyone, and how Michael B. Jordan, Killmonger, became this just like driven lunatic as to why he just despises Wakanda and the Black Panther and T'Challa's, bloodline, his own family. So it just there was just a lot of it that just didn't sit well with me. It was just like they kind of glossed over it and they just wanted to. It's like, you know what it was? They rushed it out. It's exactly how I feel. I feel like they rushed the movie so that they can get it out into theaters for Infinity Wars. And that's exactly what I think they
I was
did.
gonna say it's over Infinity Wars now.
Yeah. Like they were like, we need another. It's like it comes back to that, like we need like fairness and gender equality and race equality across the board. So let's throw out Black Panther. And it's like, well, you had Luke Cage. You could have used Luke Cage. He was already added into it. So Why didn't you use Luke Cage? No, we're gonna do Black Panther. Fine, cool, awesome. Well then, how did Black Panther become Black Panther? Oh, he's just a respected guy, and his dad dies, so he's just like the prince, so he gets it. It's like, oh, okay. How is he respected? Like, why is he loved?
I don't. Shh,
You
don't worry about
you
that.
don't need to know that. He's a cool guy, and then like there's gonna be like kind of a civil war, and then there's gonna be rhinos, and it's just like, oh, rhinos.
You and the rhinos.
They have invisible flying spaceships. And what does the
You and the
fucking guy
rhino.
do? It's like, no, don't do that. And he blows on a horn and 3 rhinos. It's like, oh. That's exactly what I said when, like, I audibly just went, oh, rhinos. like, like, in the movie theater, just like, I could
Rhinos.
just easily leave right now. But I drove my brother and his girlfriend here, so I have to sit through this. So
Could you have gotten a bite to eat while they watched the rest
Call
of
me
the
when the
movie?
movie's over.
I could have actually, but I wanted to sit through it to see if it would have gotten better. It didn't.
Mm.
It didn't. I mean, I bring up the rhinos a lot because it just doesn't make sense. You're this civilization that technologically wise are far superior than any other country and probably all countries put together. And when you have they have like these border police, which is his friend who blew on the horn. They're the ones that protect Wakanda from outside external sources. They kind of like are their like border gate, like no, you can't come in, kind of thing. Even though it's already hidden by a invisible shield that covers the whole city.
Wakanda's a poor country, a very poor country.
It is, but it's got a shield that can go over the whole entire city, make it invisible. So what do they use as their secret weapon when dealing with external sources that are breaking through? They use rhinos that can easily be killed by a rifle. They just have vibranium armor on them, so it's okay. Because I guess that
Doesn't make any sense.
it doesn't, especially because what does the rhino like when the rhinos come out and surprise everyone? What do they like knock up out of their way? A destroyed, invisible, flaming wreckage of a spaceship that can shoot lasers across the planet. So it's like, what? It was almost like symbolism. It's like, see, these guys know what they're doing. They can destroy this thing. It's like, no, T'Challa, Black Panther destroyed that ship, which, by the way, had one of his brethren in it, and he just straight up murdered.
Don't worry about it.
fine
He's the
with it.
prince.
So, I recommend people go see it, but I don't think it was good. That's just my opinion. I just think that people are just jumping on the bandwagon and say it's good because it had, an all or mostly African American, casting, which is fine. The actors and actresses were not the issue. They did great.
I think the story.
Yeah, exactly. The story was what I didn't like about it. I think the guy that plays T'Challa does great. His sister, a little bubbly, the like mad scientist or his Q, and he's like the James Bond of the Marvel universe, but she was fine too. She was funny, she was great. They forced a little comedy, but regardless, Sneakers is just like, okay. And then nothing else for the rest of the movie about those sneakers, which were awesome. So, like the general, I think the general, I can't remember her name, the general of his guards or whatever was the best character in that movie, in my opinion. She had the best character development, and she stuck to her role as the general, regardless of how her heart or mind felt. And I thought she did a good job. The cast was not the problem. The problem was the direction that the directors wanted to go with it, and they just rushed it out so that it could be part of the Infinity Wars and maybe the Avengers. So that's my take on it.
Ugh.
Yeah. So, well, that's all the topics for tonight. I think time's 10:14.
That's it.
Yeah, I think we've covered everything. So this is a new thing that we're doing, this podcast. We're going to try doing this every week on Saturdays around this time. Probably 8 to 10 or 8:30 to 10:30, probably about 2 hours. Try to do 2 hours or an hour and a half of just rambling about stuff. We always talk about things, so I just decided, hey, why don't we just talk about it and record it?
We also need to introduce ourselves for people that are just listening to it, who are not.
Oh
gonna
yeah, that's pretty
watch
true.
it. My name is Will.
Oh yeah, we gotta do that. I'm Buddy. I usually stream as Captain Grundle or Moist Grundle. I stream pretty much Monday through Saturday now through Saturday. Monday, Wednesday, Friday is usually my stream where I just stream whatever I'm playing. Subnautica, Hunt, Showdown for right now. Tuesday, Thursday, we got Becker over here who is our DM, and Will and I are players in it. We stream that every Tuesday, Thursday. We have V&V on Tuesday and Traveler on Thursday.
Yep.
V&V is very comic book kind of superheroes versus, well, it's villains and vigilantes, so fucking figure it out. Travelers is space D&D.
Fucking figure it out.
I mean, it's what it is. It's what it stands for. So villains, vigilantes. Okay, we're superheroes. Got it. Traveler is space D&D essentially, which is great. I'm a captain and an engineer of a ship, and so is Will. So
Will's not an engineer though.
he's not. No, no, no. He's a captain. So I beat him in that aspect. But I'm also slightly crazy. Well, my
In both
character-
games.
Well,
In both games, he's crazy.
I think I'm just crazy. So, and then obviously Becker. If you want.
Yep. I'm Becker.
And so yeah, we will be streaming every Saturday for podcasts, and we'll see you next time. So have a good night, everyone.
See you later.
Thank you.
Have a good
Bye-bye.
day.